Hi everybody, my name is Joanne Ferreira. Welcome, and my mission, my business is called The Passionate Plan, and my mission is to rattle your cage, to shake things up for you so that you live a life of deep meaning and do something with that amazing life of yours that really matters to you and to someone else. So today we're talking about self-care. It's Self-Care September, and last week we talked about managing your feelings of sadness. Part of self-care for me is also managing your feelings of anger. Those are the two that give us the most trouble. So before I get into this, I want to tell you a story. True story, of course. I only tell true stories about when I was teaching this stuff, right? Because who teaches us how to manage anger? And I was teaching this group on managing your emotions. And there was this one particular woman who was extremely shy, extremely introverted, and she really didn't want to come to the group. So for most of the session, she stood at the door. She actually never even came in. And she never expressed her anger, right? That was part of her problem in her life, is people took advantage of her. And so one day I was telling a story to her before the group started about what not to do when you're actually feeling angry. And I said to her, you know what, this person was tailgating me. And I hate when people are up my ass tailgating me when I'm driving, right? So who else hates people tailgating them? I hate it. You can feel it when you're driving, right? So I said, you know what, I didn't manage my anger. And I rolled down my window and I yelled at this person, how do you like being up my ass? How does it smell being up my ass, right? So she took that, went away, and thought it was like a role model on how to manage your anger. So she comes back the next week. She actually comes into the room. She's like, Joanne, I did it. I said, you did what? She said, my sister and I were driving, and this person was up, tailgating me, and I rolled down my window and I yelled at them, how does it smell being up my ass? And I gave them the finger, and I was like, oh my God. That is how not to manage your anger. But congratulations for actually experiencing your anger and doing something about it, even though it wasn't the most helpful way and it was actually dangerous, right? So what do we do? So listen carefully so you don't get the wrong message from me. So what do we do when we feel angry, right? So first let's talk about the fact that we have angry feelings because Mother Nature is amazing. Anger has a function. Feelings have a function. That's like the mantra, right? Feelings have a function. Now, I have some notes here because I have a lot of stuff on this and it's interesting to me, right? When you have anger, when you experience anger, it means that someone has stepped over your line. It means that your boundary has been violated. It means that you somehow feel unsafe and unprotected, right? So anger tells you where your psychic skin ends and someone else begins, right? It's like you have an internal watchdog, and that is your voice of anger. It's helpful. It gives you conviction. Anger gives you energy to change something. So think about it, and we are social creatures by nature. When we see someone else being taken advantage of, we get angry. When we are being taken advantage of, we get angry. So we get energy from anger, and it helps to change. It helps to mobilize change. Think about everything that has changed so far, right? Rights for any marginalized people. The end of slavery, like the beginning of everything good and the end of everything bad came because we use the forces of anger, yeah? So anger is a good thing. Right? So however, it's how we express it that can be either helpful for us or not helpful for us. So when we express it as rage, we end up blaming other people, pointing fingers. We say those people, it's like we become prejudiced. It looks like rage and we don't acknowledge the message, right? We simply lash out. The other side of that is if we don't express anger and we ignore it, we end up having resentment, right? Resentment means to re-feel the feeling over and over again. Plus, we end up becoming victims because people continue to take advantage of us. So, anger is necessary. It riles us up. It lets us stop pretending that we are hurt. It lets us stop pretending that our boundaries have been violated, right? It's actually, and this is research from Gottman. I love this man. He does amazing research on couples. So he found that it's actually good to express anger in a relationship, depending on how you do it, because it clears out things that are not working in the relationship, right? It shines a light on what's not working, instead of ignoring it in a relationship. So if you deny your anger, you're going to get hurt over and over again. It's like you're not going to let a person know that that actually was not okay with you. So if you step on my foot and I never say anything, you're going to keep stepping on my foot, right? Okay. So anger rebuilds your sense of safety. Now here's the problem. So like that in that story I gave you when I was driving, and a person tailgated me, or the other day a person cut me off. You would think that I was a crazy driver. I might be, but anyway, somebody cut me off. Of course I'm going to get angry, right? Because it has to do with protection. It has to do with safety. Somebody violated my boundaries, and so I got angry. Now, instead of rolling down the window and telling the person off or giving them the finger or whatever, because that's dangerous, right? That's rage. Or instead of, pretending like nothing happened, but still concentrating on that person for the rest of my drive. I had a long drive. Because now I'm like over there with them, thinking about what an ass they are and how they could drive like that and all of that. So I still haven't used my anger properly. My anger is needed to re-establish my boundaries. My anger is needed to re-establish my safety. So the best thing that I can do at that point is get back in my own skin. Acknowledge that I was angry. Feelings flow, they take 7 seconds. So I acknowledge that my boundary was violated, and how do I protect myself? By getting back into my body and paying full attention on the road so that I am less likely to get in an accident, right? So I use the function. The function of my anger is for safety and protection. I get it, I use it, I feel it, and then there's no need for me to perseverate and go back and think about every time I've been cut off and make up this whole story about those awful drivers, because when I'm doing that, I'm still unsafe, right? Hopefully that's making sense. Say yes if that's making sense. I really appreciate that. Excellent. Okay, so the questions. What do we do when we have anger? How can you be guided so that anger serves its function? And here's the answer. You ask yourself 2 questions. Uno question, the first question is, what must be protected? It's the first question. What must be protected, right? And the second question is, what must be restored? What must be restored? Okay? What must be protected? What must be restored? So right now in Trinidad, there's a kidnapping, and thank God the person was rescued. So Trinidadians are likely terrified, because anger comes sometimes with terror, but hopefully they're angry as well. And there's a movement, what must be protected, right? People's safety must be protected. People's sense of peace must be restored. So hopefully that gives people the energy, the movement to do something constructive about it, right? Okay, so when we experience anger, is it the best time to do something about it, and be mindful that the strong energy behind anger can sometimes blind you to retaliate. So there's with somebody that you love, there's a really cool experiment where they have couples in a condo, a luxury condo, for a weekend, and they videotape them going through their lives, and they notice how they deal with conflict. When couples start to fight or argue and they start calling each other names, it becomes destructive. They're not using their anger well. What they do, is they stop the experiment and they go in and they say, we're having some technical difficulties, so we want you to stop your argument until we can fix the cameras and such. So they take some time, they pretend to fix the cameras, and then they come back and they say, okay, couple, resume your argument. Now what they've noticed is, it's like 2 different people. The couples don't call each other names. The couples don't end up destructive. They actually use the argument for constructive use, right? And it brings the couple closer together. Here's the moral of the story. If you are angry, use your anger to establish, to figure out what's wrong with the relationship. However, be mindful of when you go about having the conversation with the person that you're angry at, right? Check with yourself. What is your intention? Is your intention to make the relationship better, or is your intention to beat the person up with words over their heads, right? If your intention is to make the relationship better, take a pause. Wait until the feelings, you're not being blinded by the strong feelings that anger evokes. All right, so that, as we say in Trinidad, put that in your pipe and smoke it. That's all for today on anger. In my happiness challenge, I'm going to talk a little bit about the happiness challenge because it's free to you, it's exciting. And in that happiness challenge, I do a video on effective communication, right? How to communicate your feelings, especially uncomfortable feelings, to someone that you love, and how to protect yourself from someone else's anger. So you're going to see the notice about the challenge. It is 7 exclusive days to get your happiness back. It's free to people in this group. We're going to be posting stuff about it. And it's how to be happy without changing everything around you, right? So it's not about achieving, it's about watching the videos and applying. And they're short videos, they're doable. I'm excited to hear from you. If you watch the videos and you took the challenge, there's a before and after assessment that you can do as well. So you assess your happiness level, you watch the videos, you do the 7-day challenge, and then you check in with yourself again, you do the assessment again. So watch for the challenges coming up soon. If you have any questions, or please share this video. I always ask you to share because it gets legs. And if you want me to do something on a particular topic that has to do with self-care in September, please let me know. Thanks again for being here with me. I love you big, and I'll see you soon. Take care.